I just figured out how long this video is going to probably be. Ugh. Hello people of the internet, my name is Kayla, and in today's video we're going to be talking about my angel fang piercing. A couple things that I do want to point out. One, this is going to be quite a longer video. I haven't seen a very thorough video on this piercing specifically, so I'm going to try to cover everything that I can. This may be kind of choppy and piecey here and there. Please just bear with me. 2, I'm not a professional piercer, so please don't take everything I say as ground rules or how it should be. Go to your professional piercer if you're interested in getting this piercing. Talk to them, email them. Just don't take everything I say as how it should be. 3, I am looking at my iPad with my notes past the camera here, so if you see me having to tap the screen or look up constantly, I do apologize. It's just what I have as my setup currently. Now, what are angel fangs? Angel fangs are a fairly newer piercing. I mean, they're a kind of rarer piercing, I should say. I've heard that some people have had them way back 10 years ago, past then, but again, it's been more of a newer piercing, I suppose. But the name angel fangs comes from the term double vertical philtrums. And what that means is very much like your gestrum, also like your medusa, where your medusa sits in the center of your lip, but goes all the way through. Your gestrum's also sitting in the center of your lip, but it's going from the top down, so it comes out the actual skin portion of your lip itself, not through the back. These guys are very similar, but like angel bites, where there are 2 of them here and here, or wherever you are placing them, but they also go through the backs of your lips. These guys, like the gestrum, go straight down. They are always typically pierced with a curved barbell. That is the actual name of the piercing itself. The popular name is angel fangs, but that is the piercing. Why did I get them done? Couple of reasons. Personally, I was thinking of getting a new lip piercing for a very long time. I have my tongue piercing, it's just not in right now. I had my snake bites pierced for a very, very long time, and I was thinking of getting those done, but as you can see, right here, there's a lot of gum recession, and that's actually right where the back of the labret or the ring would have sat. So I didn't want to cause any more damage that was done there. My Ashley piercing also caused a lot of damage. My gestrum kept getting hooked to my septum ring, which that was not fun. Angel bites, don't get me started on that. That was not a fun process. So I waited for a very long time to find something unique and new and really decide on what I wanted. Those are the reasons why I got them done as far as lip and anatomy goes. I also got them done because I had found these guys floating around on the internet. My first initial look was for just unique lip piercings, and I had seen a photo. I don't know if I can post it anywhere here, but if I can, it'll be somewhere. So I had found a couple of images on the internet, and I was like, those are really cool. They look like little fangs. And for the longest time, even prior to this piercing, I had always wondered, is there a way to mimic fangs without having to spend a buttload of money on getting implant fangs and not spending a cheap amount of money to just get the really annoying spirit Halloween fangs. Looking into it, after about years process, I finally decided I was going to get these piercings done, which leads into where I got them done. I went to the piercing shop that I have always been going to for the last 10 years. My piercer is fantastic. I will link their website and their Instagram down below. You want to make sure that the piercer that you see is knowledgeable. You want to make sure that they are licensed. You also want to make sure that the location that you are going to is clean and that it is not dingy. The tools are not being reused. Everything is a one-use only. Everything, is sanitized. And basically, leading into the process of this, you can tell it's a little difficult to talk still. It's still a little hard to get used to. Basically, we measured it out exactly where I wanted it to be. Usually a good piercer will let you see where the location that he's going to pierce it at has been placed. If you don't like it, you can change it, you can work with your piercer, but that's if you get a good piercer. Don't go to some guy and just be like, oh yeah, it's alright, and then regret where the placement is later. That's never gonna go well for you. So we worked out where I wanted them to sit. The whole process itself, my piercer does not typically use clamps. That is actually completely optional. It is not a ground rule that your piercer has to use clamps. It's just whatever they prefer. Some piercers find they get in the way. Some piercers find that they're very helpful. My piercer prefers not to use them. We marked it out. He got me laid down back on the like table, and then he did the left one first and then the right one. Some piercers will do needle, needle, jewelry, jewelry. My piercer has always done needle, jewelry, needle, jewelry. I prefer it to be that way because it's less traumatizing and you don't have pieces of metal that you don't need in your mouth for too long. Pain scale, I will say, when it comes to comparing it to my gestrum, because that is the closest thing that I have to compare it to, is the center vertical philtrum. The gestrum wasn't as bad. I would probably say that was like a 6. It was a little pinchy, for sure. More pinchy than like a regular labret, but it wasn't awful. 2 of them, probably because there was just 2, was definitely a little more. I would probably say it was an 8 on my personal scale, but pain scales are different for everybody. Yours, it could be a complete 0. Mine, it was an 8. It's just all personal. That finally leads to the healing process and time frame and how to clean it. My piercer told me that like a standard vertical labret and a standard vertical philtrum is going to be about 8 to 6 weeks. Now, your piercer could say it could be 3 to 6 months. Your piercer could say it's 2 to 3 months. 8 to 6 weeks for me has always been a pretty decent time for a piercing to heal as far as the lip and oral area goes. I've never really had a big issue with that. Just be careful. As far as how to clean it, I was always told, especially because I did inform my piercer that I have very dry, sensitive skin, and I do live in a very dry state. And it's a very hot state, which doesn't help, to use a very, very light, sensitive, non-colored, non-scented soap. Clean it once a day in the shower after you've done your shampoo and conditioner. So once all of the oils from the shampoo and conditioner have run down your face, wash the shampoo and conditioner away, and then really very gently work that away from your mouth. Sea salt soaks are good at least once a day for sensitive skin from what I have experienced myself. At max, I have heard 3 times a day, but no more than that. 2 is typically what I was always told in general. Now, with a sea salt soak on the lips, it's pretty easy to do, even with the top lip or the bottom lip. What you can normally do is with a cup of water, about an 8-ounce cup, take a tiny, tiny pinch of sea salt, non-iodized, put it in the cup of distilled water. You don't want tap water. Bottled water is fine as well. Heat it up in the microwave for about 30 seconds. That's about how much I can tolerate the heat. Just don't burn yourself. And also be careful when adding the sea salt because too much sea salt can also burn your skin. And what you're going to kind of do, you're going to dip your lip into the cup like you're taking a sip of whatever you're drinking and just hold it there for about 5 to 10 minutes. I do 5 minutes again because my skin is very sensitive. After that, take a couple of Q-tips or a cotton pad and again with bottled or distilled water, just clean any of the excess salt away and any soft crusties that have, loosened up. After that, don't touch it. Try not to bump it. Don't bite on it. Don't play with it. Don't do like this with your lip. Just don't. I know it's going to be hard. Trust me, I've probably been doing it this whole time in the video. It's very hard not to do, but I really try not to because that will extend the healing time frame. Also, avoiding spicy foods is good. Avoiding super hot foods is good. Yogurts, the probiotics in your yogurts can sometimes have an effect on the healing process itself. So my personal piercer told me if I can avoid that, to avoid that, which really isn't a big deal for me. I'm not a big yogurt or milk drinker or anything like that. Cheese is the biggest thing that I eat that's dairy. Now, knocking it, I did knock it the second day that I had it. It wasn't a big issue. I knocked the left side. It was at 3 in the morning. I was just trying to turn over and my hand accidentally bumped it. And I know I bumped it. I kind of freaked out a little bit, but I told myself just go back to sleep, let it relax, don't touch it, don't fiddle with it. And also, when you're cleaning your piercing, always wash your hands. Don't touch it when your hands are not clean. Any bacteria that could be on literally anything is going to get in your piercing. So just clean your hands and don't use alcohol. Don't use isopropyl. Don't use hydrogen peroxide. Just don't. You could even use contact saline solution. I've heard that is fine as well. Please do what your piercer tells you when you're cleaning. Anyway, back to what to avoid. Knocking it wasn't a big deal. I woke up, I cleaned it. It was a little bloody, but as you can see, it's not too bad. It's got a little crusty. This one has a little bit of issues since then, but it's nothing I can't handle. Speaking on that, the best things that you can look for when you're piercing is healing. Any piercing at all. See, I just did that little leg up playing with it thing. Some of the better things that you can look out for when you're piercing is actually healing. The crusties and the pus, no one wants to hear it, but it's true. The pus that comes out of your piercing, as long as it's almost either a clear, a very light yellow, or even like a white color, that's a sign that it's healing properly. If it's not healing properly, you can tell because it's very dark yellow, or it's brown, it could be bleeding, it could be swelling and seething and hot. It's just not, you'll be able to tell. But when it is healing, it should be going down and swelling. You should be able to notice that some of the bar will be sticking out more. Don't downsize right away after that. Let it heal fully. Just be careful. Another thing that you want to try to avoid is chapsticks, lip oils, lipsticks. Don't put anything on it. I know it's going to be gross because especially in like the fall, colder weather, even in the drier weather sometimes during the summer, your lips get chapped. No one wants to see it. Don't pick at the skin. It's not good for the piercing. Just let it heal naturally. It's fine. Afterwards though, once it's healed and fine and fully functional, do whatever you want. You're fine. Now the one thing that people do want to finally hear. Jewelry, types of jewelry, lengths of jewelry, what can you do with these piercings? So, as you can see, the piercings, or the jewelry that I got pierced with, they are currently, I believe, 10mm bars. They are curved barbells. Right now I have 2mm flat studs on the bottom. So they're just flat. They're not even balls, they're just like flat backs, almost. I have 2mm flat backs on the bottoms of those guys, and that's to make sure that my teeth didn't knock them, nothing hooked to anything like forks or anything like that. And on the top, up here, I have 3mm jade inlay, also flatbacks. So you can actually see on that one, this guy right here, it's got a little bit of a raise where the jade is, and then the back of it is just flat. Same with these guys down here. So, my plan is once they are fully healed to take these guys out and shrink the bar down to about either an 8 or a 6mm. It really depends on what suits me. I may have to go down from 8 then to 6, but it happens. And I'm going to put little opal spikes on the bottom so they look like little fangs. I think it'll be really cute. I'm very excited. You can do all kinds of things with these. You can leave them alone. You don't have to put spikes on them. You can put balls. You can put, just whatever. They're fun. Talking after the first day, because I've had these pierced for about a week and a half. I got these pierced on September 22nd of 2022 this year. I don't know when this video will be uploaded, but it is currently Monday, October 3rd. So that gives you a time frame of how long I have had them. On the first day, I did explain to my piercer that I do swell quite a bit. So we explained that a longer bar would be better, hence why I have the 10mm. I do have smaller lips, so if you have more full lips, maybe try to go with longer bars. If you have smaller lips, maybe 10 will be fine, maybe even 8 will be fine, who knows. But I will say swelling wasn't too terrible. I was quite surprised. With the vertical labrae, I was expecting there to be more swelling, but I will say I actually had more swelling with my angel bites, my snake bites, just all the ones that went straight through and touched the backs to like my teeth. Talking actually wasn't too big of a deal. Smiling wasn't too big of a deal. Right after the piercing, I was actually like, full on smiling, like, yeah! Wasn't too painful. About an hour in, it definitely started to get a little more like spicy. I just took an ibuprofen and it took some of the swelling down and helped with the pain. Eating and drinking, I've kind of just been staying away from forks. I know at some point I am going to have to use a fork, but right now it's just been like burgers, fries, finger foods, snack foods, just simple stuff. Nothing that I really have to like cut up and eat. Drinking, I was always told to drink with a straw. Water is preferred for the first week or two, but then, you know, sodas and other drinks are fine, juices. I do tend to drink on the corner of my mouth. Personally, I feel that it's more comfortable for the time being, but once the piercing is fully healed, I do believe I can go back to just drinking straight. It's actually the same with vaping. I look a little goofy, and I can vape and drink from the fronts of my, like from the center of my I can vape and drink from the center of my lips. It's just a little more awkward, and the only thing I also don't prefer about that is there are more chances of the liquids getting into the piercing itself, so I would have to clean it and my lips would dry out more. With that being said, overall I am actually quite happy with this piercing. I think it's a really cute, very unique, very different lip piercing that is making its way. I think more people need to get it, please. I'd love to see what people do with these. And if you have this piercing, please tell me what your experience is. Tell me how long you've had it. Tell me what your jewelry is that you're wearing. Just let's talk. If you guys like these kinds of videos, please let me know. I can try to do more. I'll link my Instagram down below. I can also link my TikTok. But yeah, you guys have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!